Well, hello.
Well, hello.
We are on episode 26 of Productivity and Procrastination. I am James, and
I'm Joe, and we are a couple procrastinators looking to get productive,
know it. I think
and we're
we're
currently
currently
working on a project pancake. Dude, we did that so flawlessly, not a single mistake.
not at all. Like we've done this 25 times. All right.
You would think.
So, as he's consuming his lumberjack bowl
I don't want to be
bite.
ashamed.
No, there's no shame in that. I wish I had one. There's only jealousy here. Lumberjack bowl. However, you are not drinking coffee from this fine specimen.
That is an incredible cup, and I will also counter it with a new shirt that I put on today.
It's like we planned it.
And
It
it
is
glows in the dark.
Black Cat Day. Wow, where's my black cat? Sherlock. He's
I think it glows
oh
in the
now
dark.
he's
I might be wrong.
now he's gonna think I'm making tuna or something. All right. So let's begin.
Let's begin. Tell me about your week.
Oh, that. Okay. Well, I had a mixed week
Well,
of
tell me about it.
of lightly feeling okay and slightly feeling not. Um I have been trying to, change my life. This will give you time to eat your bowl. Um so trying to get up and like process my morning routine and then jump into being a writer. Um, that failed most of the time in the morning.
How come?
I did manage to get my morning routine going on and open my writing programs but I was only successful a few times of actually like sitting down and writing the beginning even after I've done that. Um,
What stopped you? Like, what got in your way?
you know, I think it's easier to explain if I say that basically what I filled my time with this week was a lot of sleep and a lot of eating. Um, I found so many nap times that it was like, and what was weird is I would take like these long naps. And then I would think, oh, I'm just going to get up early the next day. And I'd not even set my alarm and end up sleeping in again. I'm like, what? How can I take all these naps and then still sleep in? And that happened like multiple days. So I think I've been trying to fill my days with just like it's easier to fill it with, sleep and food and other things that I would normally, you know, fill my time with, I guess, than it was to just continue changing my life.
I've experienced
Um,
that.
so I mean, I was successful in writing three separate times,
Nice.
and I was also successful in just feeling like I'm getting more of a groove back in what I'm writing. Like the words are coming together. I'm liking some of the stuff I'm writing. I didn't write a lot, but I felt like um I'm liking where it's going. So I am happy on that. But it was rather hard. I didn't game as much as I think I filled gaming with food and sleep. And but I did have a lot of reflection time watching myself do all these things. And it's easier to position my mind into doing better again now that I've seen this pattern. I won't be so easily thwarted by my, subconscious self trying to avoid everything this next time, because it is my goal to do the writing thing. So I'm optimistic anyway. Not a lot. I mean, I cracked like 900 words. It wasn't a lot, but I
This
did
week?
write. Yeah.
Nice.
And I did manage to get my morning routines a little bit better. So there's hope. So yeah, that's kind of how my week went.
So, why do you think you avoided working on writing so much that you would just rather sleep and eat?
Well, it was difficult at first. I think the first time I attempted writing, I only pumped out like 200 and something words. And I wasn't sure about where I wanted to go in the writing beyond that. And so I think I just avoided it as much as I can or could. And it was difficult, just finding out what to do. I'm in the first chapter of something that I'm trying to piece together with the other writings, and so wasn't really sure on a lot of things, and didn't like the flow, didn't like the introduction to a character. So slowly been attacking that. I'm in a decent position right now to just write.
So
So
you think that it was
I'm
just
optimistic.
the what you were writing wasn't compelling enough to like.
Compelling wouldn't be the right word. It was just I'm lacking practice in just my writer problem solving routine, because how you weave all this stuff together is an exercise in troubleshooting, basically. And so I need to have I'm lacking practice in that, so it was very difficult for me to do it. So I think I've been fighting it, trying to figure it out, trying to find my groove. And it was easier just to ignore process behind the scenes. And I think I've broken through that little problem now. I've strung together enough words, and I think that the initial problem is gone. I feel pretty confident now that I can.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd like
Continue
to have you keep an eye on this because I'd like to see if there's other reasons why you might have like avoided writing versus.
Well, I mean, the goal is to knock out, most of my gaming, and to be writing most of my time, or in the process of just filling my life with more productive things and less gaming, except when I'm with people. I still have my gaming single player stuff that I yearn to play, but the pull is less which is interesting. So I think I'm having a certain amount of success changing what I like to do through all this. The rewards that I'm getting as I'm just working on my life, and I think that some of that avoidance is like, because it's not all writing. You can't just produce. You got to live your life. You got to have, there's stuff to get done. But having all of that in a pattern that feels rewarding and feels like it's what you want to do. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably avoiding a lot of it. And it's coming together. I would say I'm closer this week than I was previously. And I do have the goal of feeling like, I want my week to go well.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a day here and there, not just an hour here and there, but I want to feel like eventually that I have crafted myself a life that I can be proud of and that produces.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
I think that's good. I definitely want to keep an eye on your progress and like the struggles that you come along the way, because we're all going to be struggling trying to become what your ideal is basically being a lot more productive. If you do end up hearing the sound of a computer unplugging a USB and plugging it back in, that is on James's microphone and it is not your computer.
Oh. Did you hear it already?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just go plug in her headset. One
Okay.
moment.
It's a fun game we play where I gotta sing the song doo-doo-doo-doo every single time. It's fun. I like it. I've been playing some Baldur's Gate 3. The game is so much fun. I'm playing a tiefling wizard in one game and a wood elf monk in the other. It's very fun. I'm playing a divination wizard, so I have like those special feats where I can just like switch out dice. It's really cool. Don't tell James. If James knows, he'll freak out. All right, what's up?
I guess I'm not even going to ask. Tell me about your week, Joe.
It was a week. Okay, so it was a week. Let's discuss my week. Look at all these drawings I did. Cool. So, yes. I drew every single day this week. Every single one.
Nice.
I'm very happy about that. I also did work while I was at work. So I was able to do a lot of working on page 2. I did not complete page 2, but during the process, I was like, holy shit, why is this taking me so long? I want to get this done. But because of my new mindset of I want to make sure it looks good to me, that I like it before I consider it done, it's taking longer than it's supposed to, than I planned on it taking. Because I'm trying things. I'm learning. And it's not like I didn't work on it this week, because I worked on it quite a bit. I worked on it all day Monday, like at work. And then I didn't do it Tuesday or Wednesday, but I did half of Thursday as well at work, just working on it. And so it's not like I didn't put in the time and effort, because I did. It's just, I'm just not there yet. I'm not where I want it to be. And until it is, it's not done.
Well, I like the mentality.
Yeah. Uh, it's different than I've ever done it before. I've always seeked external praise to confirm that it looks good, but now I am looking internally for it. And when it looks good, I'm really really happy where it's going, and I'll show you after the stream, James, just to
Okay.
get your thoughts on it before I continue on. But I'm really happy where it's at, where it's going, and but I really wanted to get it done, but I can't just get it done. I want it. If it's gonna have my name on it, I want it to look perfect.
Well, good. Yeah, liking it, thinking that you give it the approval is
Right. It's
probably the
changed
most
my
important part
mentality.
as an artist.
Yeah, my mentality on it has completely changed.
It's
It
not
used
you're
to
a
be
sellout.
well, it's not as much that as like I don't know, like the gratification's different. It's not so whimsy. Like I can look at it and be like, do I like this or do I like this? It's a different creature. And
Well, a
I don't
certain
know.
level of confidence there too, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am confident that I can look at something and be like, "Oh, that looks good," or "Oh, look at something. Oh, that looks bad." But yeah. So we have so far. I didn't. I did a bunch of drawing. I want to also start working on like anatomy practice with like arms and shoulders and hands. Like those are my big goals in the near future. But those would be like side things that I do while I'm finishing this page and working on the next one. Which next page will be 3 and 4 in a combination thing. So
Cool.
okay.
Did you
Is
paint?
there anything? I did not. I didn't have it on my list of things to do though.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
what's stopping me from painting? What's stopping me from painting? It's messy. It's and not having like I have to drag all of my stuff downstairs to clean it is frustrating. Excuse me. But that's a big reason. And then at this point, I was like, I could paint or because I almost did, but I was like, I could paint or I could work on page 2, and I chose to work on page 2. So
So, how did you feel that your week was?
I felt like I
Good
did
week
good
then?
this week, even though like I didn't accomplish my like one of my 2 goals, which was finish page 2. It felt like a good week because I did something I hadn't been able to do in a while, which was work while I'm at work,
Mm,
which was really nice because actually it was productive while I was making money. And
very
so
nice.
that made me happy. And the so a lot of the times it's certain phrases or specific things that can help enable me to do things. And the one that allowed me to work while I'm at work was I'm going to work now while I'm at work. So when I'm off work, I can play games without worry. Or I can play games because I can't play games with my friends while I'm at work. But if I'm off work and my work's already done, then I can play games with friends. So basically work while I like get the painting done while I'm working, and then I can spend my other time gaming with friends. And that made me happy. And that worked.
Nice. Giving yourself that little reward.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Did you have anything about your week that you wanted to throw out at us, or
I'm trying to think. I don't have anything particular this week. Just keep plugging away at what you're working on and like question everything. Just question everything. Because what works for someone may not work for you. And it's really about finding your process. And that sounds really vague, but keep working at something and you'll find your process. And try different processes.
nice. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've struggled with how much do I, you know, worry about not playing games and not doing other things and in, you know, and I think ultimately it comes down to just what you said. It's like, okay, well, I think I know how much I feel comfortable with, you know, and, so I'm trying to achieve what's going to make me feel like I've had a good week. And it might be a little bit more strict than some other people. Even though my lack of, you know, production is probably not saying that. But so there were a few things that I had written down that one that we probably want to discuss before we wrap up this episode, and that would be one, we changed the date of our releases to Tuesday instead of Thursday. I noticed that happened, but I didn't actually listen to our episode for the first time in weeks.
So we need to go back to Thursday is what you're saying.
No.
Make you panic.
No, I just need to get
Panic
myself.
watch it. Maybe what if we did Wednesday?
No, Tuesday's fine. I just need to get myself under control. And I think that's cool. I like that. And also, we had discussed about talking about the whole compartmentalizing aspect of goals, gaming, and whatnot last week at some point. I wrote down that little note, and maybe we can discuss it a little bit, though I don't know how pertinent it is. I know what you're thinking, and I want to hear it.
I don't know what you think I'm thinking, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, I was talking about the fact that my face is all red now. And,
oh, no. We just all know you're devil born.
Oh, I see.
You're, what are they called? Tiefling.
I hate that race.
I know you do.
All right. So, compartmentalizing things. Does it mean anything to you? Does it?
The only thing
What
that
are your
whenever
thoughts on that?
someone say say it for me.
Compartmentalizing.
Compartmentalizing. There we go. God, that's a that's a tongue twister for me. I think of the Mind Palace from Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
I mean, I get that compartmentalize. I can do this. Compartmentalizing. God. Is like I get the concept of it. But that's all that comes to mind. Like I mean everyone I'm gonna do it again.
Don't worry about it, Joe.
Compartmentalizing. I always start with car and I'm like, that's not right. It's compartmentalizing. I got this. Anyways, I think everyone does it to a certain degree, just because it's, you know, it's
we
just
kind of have to.
do. Yeah. You group things, and then keep things separate from others. Like, you've got your work life and you've got your home life, and you don't really try to mix those very much. And or maybe you do, and maybe you don't compartmentalize them. I did it first
Oh,
try.
wow, nice.
Look at me learning.
Well, let me think.
What's
When
it mean for you, James?
I I have it means to me that I need to have my time frames kind of in mind a little bit. So,
What do you mean by that?
well, if I think about the goals that I have in video games, for instance, like, oh, I want to pass this level, or oh, I want to get leveled up, or oh, I want to try out a solo game and see how I do, I would do things. These little goals that I make in my mind, they, I have to put them in the right spot in my week. That's what it means for me. Is that in order for me to get the production in my life that I want, I have to be able to have certain times where it's less normal to be doing those types of things. So I think there's a certain factor of timing with how that works with me, and then there's certain aspect of comfortability with kind of the results side of what's going on with my week. I would like to be a little better with being able to just turn off one thing that lures my mind, at any given moment. But I don't have complete control over that yet, because
I
obviously
don't
I
think
wouldn't
anybody
have
does.
shoved a bunch of food in my face and slept for so many hours this week. I Yeah, I mean that's probably right. A lot of people probably struggle with being able to complete control over their decision making process in
Yeah,
life. Um,
compartmentalizing is tough.
but I mean, having these different ways of looking at these different definitions makes it easier to examine what you've done and compare it and contrast it to what you would like to be. So I think these kind of words help sometimes, and these strategies that you hear from people on like how to do things, um, I think they can help in some ways. But I definitely don't think that there is a all-encompassing strategy that if you just do that, you'll just do it.
I don't think so either.
You know.
I think a lot of it has to do with when it comes down to it, like how bad do you want the end goal? And like how much stress are you currently under? Like, are you able to even focus on your goals because of all the stress in your life?
Hmm.
Because there's a certain level of like, I think people go into what I call survival mode, where you're just living in the moment because you don't want to think about the future or the past. You're not in a good place, and maybe you don't have time for your goals.
Yeah, and then the contrast to that would be necessity, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
you have to do them or you like
Yeah.
fail like in a big way, you
Yeah,
know.
and that's yeah, you're that's survival mode to me. It's like you don't have It's like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like you're at the bottom tier where you don't have like, shelter, safety, or like, food. So it's like, and there's like other things that can also cause stress, which could also put you in that same mode, which makes it harder to accomplish your goals and focus on them. Even no matter how much you try, you can still have a hard time. No, just something to think about. I don't know where I was going with that,
Yeah,
but
I mean, well, Maslow's needs. I mean, there's not a lot of us that are really starving or,
no, but
being rained on when we're, when we're talking about our gaming computers and our,
right.
So, I mean, to a certain degree, it's like,
No, you bring up a good point. I'm just saying, like, stress can be a big factor for getting your stuff done. And so if you find yourself having a hard time getting your goals accomplished, look at maybe the stressors in your life and how to like reduce those so that you can enjoy the joy in your goals. Enjoy the journey to the end goal. Cuz that's a big part of it too. I think is enjoying the process. Enjoying taking the time to learn the process, experiment in the process, play around with like just everything. And that's going to make it so that when you are doing what you want, you're not just, repeating someone else's formula. You're doing something that works for you. It's going to give you a sense of pride, I think, for that. I don't remember what your question was,
yeah,
but I'm just going on a tangent apparently.
no, hey, go for it. Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, the whole, well, I'll just attach myself to your whole pride thing. Um, for me, I'm results oriented. So a lot of my quote unquote pride or how I view my week is based on what I produce. So,
For
but
me, it's about having fun during the process.
yeah,
So, question.
I don't know
When I
about
was
fun.
painting this week, I did this like cool thing and I'm like, "Holy shit, that looks good. I'm an awesome artist." Do you have moments like that?
Yeah, I mean, I string together some words and I'm like, that sounds badass, or I like how this all goes together.
That's
If
awesome.
this was actually published, somebody would think that too. I,
Mhm.
I have moments like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think it's
Then I
important
have
to have those moments.
moments where you question what the, what
Oh
is
yeah,
somebody
no, I
gonna
have
say
like
about
moments where
that?
I'm like, I'm deleting this entire layer because this is shit. I had that a couple times.
But I'm definitely feeling a lot more comfortable with what I'm putting down. Um, it's taken some time. I mean, I guess if I look at the last month, it's been, I have this hazy understanding of where I want to be. And every time I think I'm to that point where I can just begin, oh yeah, just put words on the page. I think I ultimately get to the point where it's like, I am such a deeply troubled individual that
What do you
that
mean
is
by
far
deeply
more
troubled?
complicated. I just kind of like, all these little strategies I have to avoid, you know, working.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm just complicated, and probably everybody is. My goal is to conquer my complicated self and get to the point where I am. basically who I would be proud of.
Here's my concern with that. Is
Oh, let's hear it.
Here's my concern with that. I feel as though you put a lot of pressure on yourself to be this, like, and I've said this before, to be this perfect writer that you view yourself, that you want to be, this like idealized thing you've created in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't meet those expectations, you feel bad. And I feel as though you will never be able to amount to the perfect writer that you've created. And your brain is going to be doing everything in its power to stop you from doing this, because it doesn't feel good, because you'll never be there. So each time you write, you're measuring yourself against this perfect writer. And so it doesn't feel good to write.
Didn't I just say I loved some of the stuff I wrote?
Well, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean you enjoyed writing, or your brain didn't. Like, I feel like you are too harsh on yourself. And I know you're supposed to go. You're gonna wear that as a badge
I feel
of
like
pride.
you're too low of standards for yourself. I don't know. What am I supposed to say to that? I get where you're coming from, but if I don't have a standard to
Why do you have to have a
compare
standard?
myself with,
Why do you need to compare yourself? Why don't you just write for the joy of writing?
Because that's not how I work, Joe. Like, I have to have a
James.
certain standard
No, you don't.
that I want to obtain.
Oh my gosh, this is why you can't write. You've made it work. You've made it. You're like your own strict exploitative boss who's sapping all the joy out of it.
No.
Yes, you are.
There's no sapping of joy out of it.
You're sapping the joy. I have to meet this specific standard or I failed.
No, that's not. I didn't say or I failed. I just have a standard that I'm trying to obtain. And so I'm judging myself as time goes on the standard, seeing how close to that standard I can get. It's not that I can't objectively look at what I've done and go, okay, well, I did all right, because I kind of defined myself as this week of being that already. I gave myself, there's some things that I've gotten better at, such as my morning routine. However, there are some things that I've not got better at, which is actually sitting down and writing after my morning routine has began. So, everything's based on the standard, though, that I want to set for myself, which is, kind of like, I want to be, to me, like, this is my ideal. I will give you my ideal, and then you can understand where I'm coming from. I want to be, like that mage in the wizard tower, where what he does is he produces. That's what he does. He has his workshop, and he wakes up, and what he does is he tinkers, and not to say I'll ever obtain anything like this, but, the thought of just, that master, who this is what he does. That creative guy who just works on his craft. I would like to be something akin to a person who gets most of the enjoyment out of his day from doing that, and just drowns in what he loves. Well, in order to obtain that, I've got to love what it is that I do. And I've got to wean back some of these things that are filling up my life that my mind has decided are pleasurable. And so I have to decide, okay, well, I'm not going to be doing, you know, this stuff, and I'm going to be filling it with more creative, more difficult tasks. Um, I don't think that's such a bad thing. I don't.
Well, I agree that it's like taking away your video games and stuff, like stuff that's not not conclusive to your goals is I don't think that's a bad idea. I think it's a choice, and everyone, we're all making choices or whatever. But for you, if you want to cut on back video games, you absolutely should. My concern still lies with, I feel as though you're squeezing the joy out of writing for the sake of something else. For the sake of your idealized version. I think you should focus more instead of on how do I get myself to write more? How do I fight this feeling of I don't want to write? Instead, make writing more fun. Make writing your video game, your escape, your whatever you get from video games. Try to get it from writing. Take steps to make writing more fun. And I think that starts with stop comparing yourself to this idealized version.
No.
All right. I like it. just no.
That's not going to happen. And to some degree, I think your just enjoy writing, thing is, I mean, of course, I need to enjoy it to some degree. But it's not the end all be all, like loving every minute of it. It's work.
Mm-hmm.
It takes brain power. It takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes sacrifice to do anything of value. If I'm going to write a book that's, 80 to 120,000 words, I better damn well be in for the long haul, because it takes a while to craft that many strings of words together that make sense and is worth reading. So I have to take my enjoyment and go, okay, yeah, enjoying it is part of it, but at the same time, I have to be looking at the results. I have to be like, okay, do I like what I wrote? Am I proud of what I wrote? And some of the fun needs to be supplemented with just the accomplishment of what I've put down that week or that day or whatnot. So, yeah, I can understand the fun thing, and some of it's going to be fun, and some of it's going to suck. I mean, editing kind of sucks sometimes, It is that aspect of work, but I've got to find a way to make it all work in my mind together. And it's not gonna be all fun. I've got to be a professional. That's what I'm trying to obtain.
Just in case you aren't watching the stream, I made an eye roll.
At which part?
I've got to be a professional.
All right. Why?
Because you've got. I'm just gonna be repeating the same. Just rewind.
I figured it out. I know why Joe has such a problem with this.
Why?
Because Because I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be this
Oh,
eventually.
that's right. I don't
And
want you to
he wants to
succeed.
justify
I want
his
to bring
lack
you
of
down.
professionality. No, he wants to. He's like, I don't know that I ever can obtain this level of
I
perfection,
will never be
and
able
so
to.
therefore, I must be. Are
You,
you thinking that, Joe?
yes. Where's my nefarious light?
Give me the nefarious
You've caught
light.
me.
Yeah, I did. What's wrong with being a professional, Joe?
There's nothing wrong with being professional. I just think you're sacrificing. I think you should look at what's. I think you should break down what's really important to you about writing and why you've chosen writing and identify what you're sacrificing in order to try to obtain this perfect idealized version of yourself.
All right, I know the first part of that. I like writing because some of the things that I write, I like a lot.
Whoa, hold on. I got questions. And okay. I also want to preface this with I am very pro James. I want James to succeed. I want James to become the next best, well, not probably the next one, but a best-selling author. Have multiple books in the top #1 on New York Times bestseller. That's what I want for James. Now, this all comes from a place of concern, and it will sound like I'm bickering at him, but it's only because we've been hanging out for, what, 15 years?
Yeah, definitely too long.
Yeah, way too long. So we've got a rapport that I'm able to exploit. So,
Nice. Bring it.
what was the question? I've forgotten it.
I don't know. You're the one who rambled on about what you wanted to say.
Um,
What's this controversial thing that I would almost take offense to, or somebody else that would almost think that you're nagging
I
about?
just wanted to preface all of this because it could seem like I'm ragging on you a lot, and I definitely am not trying to rag on you. I am very pro James.
Okay.
I don't remember what were we talking about before this?
Memory stuff? You're asking me for that? I mean, I assumed you knew what you were spouting all this off for.
I had a train of thought.
All right. Well,
Oh, now I remember. You were talking about your reason for writing.
Oh,
You
yeah,
said
some of the
the
things
reason
I
I write
like.
is because I like some of the stuff I wrote.
right.
What was the
Yeah.
original reason that made you start writing though? Like what triggered
It's
you
called
to be
assignments. like,
school
like I had to
assignments?
write for school, and then eventually people liked what I wrote.
Oh, I think I found it.
Okay. Yeah,
External
that's the second
praise.
part of it. Well,
External
yeah.
praise.
Well, that's how you confirm that the stuff that you write is actually good, and you're not just an idiot going, "Oh yeah, I love this," and it's crap.
This
Get people
sounds
to go and confirm your
1000%.
thoughts.
This sounds 1000% exactly like my issue with with drawing. But whatever the case may be, why do you want to become a writer?
Well, you've heard me talk. What else do I got? Yeah,
Holy shit! That's dark.
I can talk forever, man. It's hard to
Why
get
don't
me
you-
to shut up.
Well,
If I could just put those down to words, man, I'd have a never-ending fount of money. I might actually do something with my life. It's definitely something I got. I mean, I can talk, so I might as well write. I don't know. I like it.
That's good.
You know, when you write, a section of words, and it just all just seems to like go together well, sound good. Um, I don't know. I enjoy it, and I go, "Ooh, I wonder if somebody else thinks that sounds good." And then if they mention it or whatnot, then and you go, oh, yeah, maybe it did. Maybe I can write more of that, and it's fun. So yeah, there's no problem with me liking it. The problem is with my lack of discipline, and I mean, if I could jump into the future 10 years and see, you know, uh, my very much more productive self working hard, with perhaps some of the rewards that come with it, then, maybe I'd be more apt to just jump in but I haven't solved myself 100% yet. I'm trying to. I'm further along than when we first started.
Mm-hmm.
And I have confidence that over time I will be much closer to being a professional than I am right now. That's exciting.
Nice. Okay. Um, I'm excited to explore this journey with you. Because I think we both have different mindsets on creation.
Can I
Which is
ask you a
not
question?
surprising. Yeah.
The hard
Oh,
anti, you know?
ask me questions.
All right. So, I said, "Oh, are you trying to bring me down?" It's not exactly what I mean. Is that have you looked at yourself and thought to yourself as a professional and have compared yourself to that professional standard? Or do you try to avoid that question altogether? And is there a reason why you're avoiding it?
So here's where I think I'm lucky with what I've chosen. I can look at a professional's work of art and then I can look at mine and I can see the differences like in an instant. Whereas with writing, it's a completely different creature.
Well, translate away for us relative to the professional question that I gave you.
Okay. So, um, when I look at a like when I go onto ArtStation, and I look at these people who do incredible pieces of art, I can I can steal some ideas that they have, just like look over their pieces and be like, oh, I really like how they did this or how they did that, and I can borrow from their repertoire, or like I like how they drew that nose or whatever, and so I can borrow that nose or whatever and incorporate it into my pieces in a way that's still mine. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, I of course I compare myself to professionals because I want to know how far along in my journey I am to creating the pieces that I want to create and like what I need to work on to improve. But my end goal isn't to be this production machine. It's to my end goal as a painter or as an artist is to create worlds in which people get lost in. Like I want to paint fantasy images or sci-fi images of places people want to be in. People take a look at it like, oh, look how cool that place looks. I want to be there. Or look how cool this person is. I want to meet them. That's the type of stuff I want to do. I want people to be able to read a story inside of my paintings. That's my end goal. and make some money from it because I'd like to be able to do that as my main thing. So
All right. Well, that's the aspect that
if you can get good at anything, you can make money from it.
right. Totally. I'm just trying to jump start that as fast as I can. And being able to produce many words in a week is going to increase the odds that that is actually a reality.
I agree, and I'm trying to help you bypass the need to fight yourself to get it done. My goal for you is to make it more fun. Like look inwards and like how can you make your writing more fun so that you don't have to fight yourself as much.
Well,
It
it's
doesn't have to be an
becoming
answer
more
right
fun
now.
as more problems get solved as I write, like some of my transitions and some of my, uh, just the troubleshooting that's going on. It's just beginning to be more fun. And I would have to say that the amount of words that I get down are increasing the amount of fun. So we'll see. Production and fun for me, not a bad correlation. So,
All right. So let's talk about goals for this week. This is something
yeah,
we want to touch
my
on.
same goals. I'm going to go with the exact same ones. And
Okay.
I'm basically charting how much I do
Yeah.
and
That's
how I
good.
feel about my day and the amount of times I work and going from there. I'm hoping someday that I just blow all this crap out of the water. Like I'm closer to that perfection. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah. I'm gonna put finish page 2 as a goal, which theoretically should be done this week, but again, I don't know how long it'll take. And because I'm independent, I can take as long as it needs to. Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to cover before we call it?
No, I think I think I feel good.
Okay. Nice. That was a good episode. I really enjoyed talking about motivations. I think that's a big part of like what
Are you,
we're
or
still
do you want to
we're
end
still
this?
no, I want to keep on. This is my closure. I think we talked about motivations, and
Okay.
I think it's important to look at what motivates you, just in general, for like especially specifically your goals, and like what your motivation is. And there's no wrong motivation, because I mean the only reason I started actually doing traditional art was because I was jealous. So, you know. All right. Anything you want to close it out with? Any funny quips you got sealed in there?
I'm more serious, Joe. I'd say keep working on yourself.
Yeah.
You know your end better than I do.
Yep. James is definitely acting a little suspicious. Like what would you call it? A tiefling?